Okay, the sound should be back now. Um, Let me double check. So, um, this looks a lot better now. MIB versus E7. Um, we see MIB not too sure where they're going, but they seems to be leaning more towards a C. Um, Meanwhile, E7 actually does not contest C at all. Interesting. They're putting a crown near the TD spot. While they haven't collected any information onto MIB C push, they've actually started cap. They haven't started cap anything, so now they haven't spotted B as well. So E7 might be in the pretty interesting, well, pretty strange position when it comes to caps. At least all we know that um, MIB's T22 capped B without being spotted, and he basically left the cap really quick. So can't help but wonder, how did E7 let them cap B for free? Other than that, the cap point now would surely be should be in the favor of E7 after they cap B again. The recap up to MIB. So the cap advantage should be now on E7's favor. It should take very quickly for E7. So MIB with a similar, actually a lighter lineup than E7, will have to think of a way to push into a heavier lineup. So E7 has a pretty decent setup right now with a double cranks, sitting at the back of their spawn, watching for, basically they're aware of any, they can be easily aware of any push that will be coming their way. Capricorn getting spotted. That is a good thing. That E7 is basically still able to collect information on what is coming and what is not coming. MIB looks to want to make a push, but they haven't made up their mind just yet. So time is ticking. So MIB would have to make a move very soon, and it looks like they have made their decision. And Capricorn is now taking some damage, but they're slowly gaining territory that they really desperately need, because without territory, like at least right now, they're able to spot E7's forts from close up, and with Florida and Rome pushing from the other side, they're able to gain more and more map control as time goes on, and they were able to start crossfiring E7 from different angles. So it will be interesting to see how MIB are able to set up this crossfire. Sam Ruler seems to be in tricky situation, but he's still alright for now. They also recapping B with double tanks, so it will be up to the IS4 skill to try to reset the cap, which doesn't seem he's able to do it just yet. It's T22 with all the cap points of the cap progress, so they were able to get B comfortably. But right now, E7 is in a very strange situation where they have to actually be careful, because the medium tanks of MIB actually very deep right now. They're able to, they're not focusing on to Alex in a one shot. Florida goes down first, but Alex is not going to be long for as well. Capricorn goes down as well. Is a 2-1 trade in favor of E7. Actually a pretty strong cap point advantage for E7 as well. A 3-1 trade. This is unexpected from MIB. They have screwed up their push. E7 take the first game. That was surprising. You would have thought that MIB actually had that in the bag with regards to how they set up that push. They actually had E7 in a crossfire situation, and Alex was actually the first tank from E7, first tank in the game. That was pretty low, and it was surprising how I was surprised by how Memory actually dropped the ball there. Since E7 was actually the ones in trouble getting crossfire. Um, So let's look back a bit. So yeah, it might be able to get the early cap lead, but the issue was they let E7 get it back. But I feel like MIB did a lot of things correct. They pushed up slowly, didn't take too much damage. They even surrounded E7 into like a sort of like a crossfire position, even get back B in the end. So I'm surprised how MIB dropped the ball. They look at them. They got the cap. They got back the cap advantage, but then they dropped so much hit points trying to take more advantage that they were punished by E7 doing so. So even though Alex was sort of like the first tank on E7 in the entire match from E7 to drop below a certain hit point, he wasn't the first one to go down. Capricorn and Florida went down very, very quickly. So this actually went in the favor of MIB because of that. So props to E7 able to punish that push. Actually, I did not see that coming. So yeah. That was actually something else from E7 to able to pull that back. And also I feel like yeah, it might be dropped the ball a bit with regards to that. So it looks like so yeah. Let's see if it might be able to fix their mistakes and come back stronger. So spawns were swapped. And it seems that both teams are taking more or less a similar approach. E7 might actually put some more effort into C this time. They got one E5, then one tank in the form of E5. That will be contesting C early on. But other than that, it might be actually not going for C this time at all. And they're gonna get a cap advantage very early on. So a good thing for MIB to get a cap advantage. Actually, 2 caps right now. So it'll be surprising. It will be interesting to see how E7 is gonna deal with this cap advantage that MIB is now holding. It's also pretty much impossible for E7 to cap A or B at this stage because they still have tanks very, very close to A/B cap. They can easily reset the cap and stop any cap stop at the early stage. So E7 would have to find ways like that to sort of try to crack open MIB's A/B hold. So compared to E7, MIB actually took a lot of a shallow approach. It didn't put any tanks down around here in this lane. Instead, it put more tanks towards the outer side. So this allows them to react more towards the C push towards their spawn, and also at the same time still gain pretty much decent control on towards sector 5 around there, which is actually a pretty important point in this map if you want to be successfully defending or attacking A/B side. So MIB is slowly getting bled from left and right, but they're still pretty healthy all across the board. 7 Roller, on the other hand, had received quite a bit of hit point damage. He looks to be in the crossfire position. It would take him. It'll be interesting to see how. Ooh, MIB's making a push. It seems. They're pushing onto the VK90. This is a very, very quick decision from MIB as they see E7 grabbing both A and B cap. So whether E7's gonna survive these 2 tanks long enough would actually make this entire game or not. Chicago actually goes down earlier than Nuggies and Fries, so it's a 1-1 trade so far for both teams. And as long as 7 Ruler is still alive, E7 would get all 3 caps without issues. And 7 Ruler needs to go down ASAP. Otherwise, E7 would still have this very, very strong lead in terms of caps. Even though they don't have a cap point lead, their cap lead would make up a lot for it. 7 Ruler is still alive, but Capricorn is already down. 7 Ruler finally goes down, but I feel like it's a bit too late at this stage already. Even though MIB gets C, they're losing precious time, precious ground. Rome goes down as well. So hit point is still in the favor of MIB, but at this stage, E7's cap, E7 already has a cap lead. X-Gam is gonna go down very soon in the Crown Wagon. It just depends on how fast Florida is able to take him down. It might take him longer than expected. If you can't take him down quick enough, you can take him down still. But still, again, the cap lead is still in the favor of E7, and yes, they're able to take down tanks, but their hit points also getting bled very, very quickly. E5's down. Next should be IS4 or the Crown Wagon. No. T22 goes down first from E7. Is now a 2-on-2. Are they able to focus on the same tank? Crown Wagon needs to go down fast. They're 10 points away from winning the match. So E7 takes it again. I feel like Seven Rulers stayed alive a long time. That is basically that's basically separated between winning and losing. So yeah, amazing stuff from Seven Rulers to be able to stay alive that long. You would have thought that he would be dropped very soon, to be honest. Like, I was surprised to see him staying alive that long. So yeah, it was something else to be able to stay alive that long. But yeah, let's take a look. So in this case, it might be able to take both of the cap leads very early on, so which is a good thing in my opinion. They actually did a very good job taking the both cap leads, and actually the formation of how they defended AB is actually pretty nice as well. The only thing they got worried about is that if there's a T20 who's sneaking deep inside AB corner around sector 1. But other than that, the defense is actually pretty nice. And I feel like their push was also decent. It was how they dealt with Nuggies very quickly. That was alright, but then they dropped the ball against Seven Ruler and allowed him to stay alive way longer than he should have been alive. So he was basically buying a lot of precious time for MIB, and you can see down to the wire in the end that cap points was basically in the gaps of 20s, if not 10s, and it's basically down to just that 25 cap points in the end that E7 were able to take the game. So 2-0 in favor of E7. Now we're going down to Neighbor Frontier. But yeah, this is something else by like, again, I feel like MIB dropped the ball a bit with regards to them trying to kill a tank. So in that case, they will kill off Nuggies very quickly, but for Seven Ruler, they dropped the ball heavily in that part, and Seven Ruler stayed alive way too long before he was shut down, and that basically sealed the deal for MIB, because they weren't able to. They're losing in cap advantage, but the thing was they had the cap advantage, but E7 at one point had 3 caps in their favor, so that meant MIB did not have the cap advantage, and they were not even killing tanks, so they're having really nothing in their favor, and that really proved to be a very important point in the very late game. So yeah, it's now 2-0 in favor of E7. We're now going down to Neighbor Frontier. So there's now match point for E7. It will be down to MIB's heroics to not let this go to a freeze nil. It would be such a shame after fighting this far. Well, I mean, this game is now at this stage it's really fighting for bonus points to see who has the most wins right now. But it would be sad to getting 3-0 at this stage. So yeah. Both teams are taking a very passive stance. MIB more looking in towards C cap, while E7 taking an A cap. E7 should have the A cap before MIB have C, since they stepped in earlier and they also have 2 tanks capping at the same time. But there's also a T22 from MIB resetting A cap, so this might actually be the other way around. So is indeed MIB getting the cap first. But E7 get the cap is only 10 cap points worth of difference, so that it's only gonna take a moment of cap stop to take that advantage back. It's just up to 7 ruler when he wants to do it, and how long he want to do it for. It's a bit of exchange going on, but at this stage both teams are still fairly healthy. Capricorn looks to be putting more pressure onto 7 ruler. 7 ruler might need some backup, and doesn't seem like he had many backup for now. E7 is capping B at the same right now. So and 7 ruler's in a big trouble. Is in some trouble right now. So E7 needs to get something done in order to save 7 ruler. And this stage, MIB is really showing slightly better focus fire, as they're able to take down 7 ruler very low, very early. But Capricorn also is already very low. They're both one shots. They're both in a 2-shot range. And it's really just whether E7 want to take them down just yet. E7 takes down Oslo. E7 also has a 2 cap lead. So now, even though the trade is in 1-2, now trade is in 1-2 in favor of E7. The fight is now unfolding on B cap. T22 against T22 action. E5 is also about to join the fight as well. So MIB's T22 is not long for this world, and will surely be down very soon. Florida is trying to support the T22, but his low DPM meant that he's not going to be able to put many shots into it before T22 goes down. It's now 3 versus 5. Nagis and Fries is low, but so is a few other tanks in MIB's squad. E5 in MIB's 1-shot. There's also another E5 that's also in 2-shot. Only 2 tanks left. 1 tank in 6 health. This is surely in E7's back right now. So it is indeed a 3-0 for E7. E7 3-0 MIB. So it was another good attempt by MIB. Though they're trying to fight many fronts at the same time, but they also bled a lot doing so. And I feel like it has been a recurring theme for MIB that they just basically bled a lot, and or they were not able to get much in return done. So yes, they were able to win. Like, they're able to fight, push in, but the thing was, like, they would get something done, but they also bled a lot in return. So it was not that MIB wasn't able to get anything done. Is that they get something done, but they lost more in return doing so. So it's really down to I would guess it's down to planning their shots and being aware of their surroundings. This is something that if you're not aware enough, it could really come back and bite the players in the back. And in this case, it bite MIB in the back, as they're not aware of their own pushes, and they actually bled a lot. And I meant, if you can see that, let's take a look. Even though 7 rulers is bled down early, that's good. But from here on in, it's basically MIB giving away free hit points very quickly. As you can see, Capricorn Oslo already go down very low before they even take down 7 ruler. So yes, they were able to get something done, but their lack of awareness basically meant that they gave up more hit points than they took in the first place. So it's a double-edged sword right there that MIB needs to be able to deal with if they want to get something done especially in tournaments, because this sort of game style, yes, you gotta get something done, but you should not really anticipate yourself losing more than you gain. If that's the case, you should really be reviewing what you're actually doing, because that's not favorable in the first place. So yeah, MIB might want to review on how they approach some of these situations. Yes, they're able to bleed them pretty convincingly, but other than that, like, it is pretty I would say not favorable for MIB. So yeah, E7 took the 3-0. Good on them. But yeah, you can also pick on it's really MIB dropping the ball in a few scenarios, not able to perform. Like they bled quite a lot compared like to E7. In the end, it really downs to getting the kills they need and also getting the tanks they need, getting the damage they need to do without getting shot a lot in return. But that's really what they need to work on. So now we've officially finished the first stage. So now we just gotta wait for the next stage to come in. Um, so now we just gotta wait for the next stage bracket to be announced. So E7 MIB should be through to the next stage. Same with King. Um, I am not sure what other teams go through or not. But it seems like yeah, Yakuza Fan Club is their top 9 is there as well. Eskimos should be there as well, and there should be probably 2 more teams, or there should be one. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There should be 3 more teams that'll be advancing to the next stage. And yeah, next round will be the upper brackets for the next stage, which would also be a best of 5. Starting from Normandy, Mayan Ruins, and then Middleburg. So yeah, actually, it looks pretty nice. It wasn't that bad. So we could probably tune these settings back up a bit since it wasn't that much of a burden on the system. So I'm just trying to find the optimal settings for the stream. So let me know if you feel like it could be improved slightly better. So apparently PGMT forfeited the match. So there is no match. Let me see if there's a match for me to stream now. Or should I even stream anything from here on in? Okay, so I'm guessing I'm streaming this Schemos versus Men in Black MIB instead. At least it's something. At least it's something. At least it's something. Okay. So the upper bracket, this is the upper bracket match, I believe. Which means the maps are Normandy, Mine Ruins, and Middleburg. Which we are on Normandy right now. And we should be starting fairly soon. If everything goes alright. So, Schemos versus MIB. I would call them BD versus MIB. It's just a simpler way of saying things. MIB on North Spawn. And BD in South Spawn. Both teams have the Vickers Light going mid very early on. Rome's gonna make contact with Valkyrie very soon. But MIB get these first before BD's close to any caps to begin with. But B has an E3 at back that might actually be able to contribute to some resets. Maybe not. So MIB's gonna get a cap advantage very soon. while BD's just trying to scramble for caps. They're not contesting A though, so that leaves a small opening for MIB to sort of, I guess they could try A if they really want the extra cap advantage. But as I mentioned, they really want to try. They want to try to not try to go win for too much of a win, as in not try to go for too much of an advantage, and that goes back to bite them back in the back. But they're going for A regardless. It's really whether Valkyrie is able to reset A or not. As this stage just looks like MIB is gonna get the cap without much issue, and that's what happened. In BD on the other hand, they're looking to push onto D cap. Some initial exchange is going on, where BD is still pretty healthy, and E5 from MIB takes one hit. So the cap point is currently in favor of MIB, where BD is just trying to find out which is more vulnerable for him to be pushing in. But the issue is that MIB looks to be in they seem to be stuck in lower ground, and BD is basically allowed to take D with some cover fire from their teammates. And the cap point would have been in BD's favor if they didn't get reset. But MIB's push is currently now pushing onto the Vickers Light. So Vickers Light is going to go down very, very quickly. It's up to BD to sort of find out some ways to counter this, because the Vickers is very isolated right now. The closest tank is so far, and it's not going to be in time to save them. And at the same time, they're trying to go back to save him. Like, this is not a good idea, because your Vickers already dead. At this stage, you're just trying to split your forces into multiple different fire, and as you can see, the team is now split, and they're not able to form an effective firing line. They're not able to fight effectively as a team. So now MIB is really in the firm favorites, because they got everything in their favor. They get to fight separate fights in small chunks, and BD aren't able to punish MIB as a team. They're playing individual fights. There's like 2 pushing there, 2 in the plane area, and 2 fighting, or 1 fighting in the bunkers area, and is just very, very disoriented from BD side. And it's not even isolated into 2 fights in this separate fight as well. So BD is now dropping the ball massively by trying to split fights into so many different small fights, and you can't help but wonder, is this just BD being overconfident, or you just basically weren't prepared for such aggression from MIB, and they just had to, and they're panicking just trying to split fights, because splitting fight in that situation is the worst thing to be doing. And I can't help but, like, you know, like, there's definitely gonna be a better way of doing that other than trying to split the fight into many different chunks, because that's not what you're meant to do in a push. So BD massively dropping the ball, and MIB take the first. So as you can see, the damage numbers is heavily favored in MIB's side. Even though BD is able to go all the way, like, they were put up some fight, but it was not pretty by any means. MIB basically trashed them the moment they realized that BD was splitting fights left, right, and center, and it's just really a matter of time that MIB was cleaning up BD in very convincing fashion. So that's basically 1-0 for MIB. As you can see, MIB did they knew what they had to do at start. They got 2 caps as opposed to 1 cap with BD, and obviously BD made an attempt to try to make a push onto D side. They almost even got the D cap. They just got reset it, and then a push onto the Vickers happened, and then they sort of split their fight into very, very small chunks, and that basically was where the deal was sealed. And yeah, BD should not have rotated back, because they're already committed basically all the way towards the D fight. Pulling back towards their spawn side is basically just asking for trouble. So yeah, it was a massive drop of the ball right there. That they were attempting to go back to save the tank that already died, and they're leaving all their healthy tanks to die as well. So yeah, massive um, a massive win for MIB. So now we're going to the second round. So now we're going to swap spawns, and we're going into Normandy once again. This is a funny ping number, but that's alright. BD's now going for a D cap early on, while MIB looks to be going for a C cap as well. So BD might actually get the cap earlier than MIB, depending if MIB's gonna invest another tank onto a cap. Doesn't seem like that's the case. So BD's gonna get a cap advantage over MIB. On the other hand, Capricorn from MIB is going very aggressive. MIB seems to be going for very aggressive early push early on. Capricorn is just all the way in next to D-Cap already, and doesn't feel like BD is ready for this just yet, even though they got more tanks here. And Capricorn not necessarily know that they got one IS-4 and one E5 here extra that is not being spotted. So MIB will actually be in some trouble right here, as they're unknowingly pushing onto a disadvantage right here. They're capping D. They're pushing it heavily, but they play a lot doing so. Are they able to call out back with the focus fire? This is a question that is about to be answered very soon. A hard and an E5 is about to get dropped very soon. He's a one shot right now. At the same time, it might be got no tanks in low health, so there's gonna be a very quick tank advantage for MIB in the cards right here. MIB take the first tank advantage. Ovi in the IS-4 is about to go down as well. He's now 930 hit points, same with his Crown Wagon, and 269 hit points. He's about to go down. 2-1 trade for MIB. Is about to turn into a 3-1 MIB trade if Capricorn stays alive. This is going very well for MIB, while the BD mediums are only just about to get into the fight. So IS-4 is about to get dropped. IS-4 gets dropped. Capricorn gets dropped as well. Is an even trade, free trade. But it's in the favor of MIB with regards to the hit points. But MIB is in now a tough spot. They're not being surrounded by front and back, so they might want to go and chase the Vickers start first to get rid of the mobility. But Crown Wagon's down, so tank advantage is now in BD's favor, even though the hit point is not. So nobody's helping Chicago with Vickers, so that Vickers gonna stay alive a lot longer than expected. Oslo in the mountains also went down, so there's now 2 low health tanks in BD's side. They took down the Fox, but the Vickers is still out there being alive. Now he's finally down, but it took MIB a lot of hit points, and T22 is still alive. So mobility wise, BD has the advantage, even though in hit points side, MIB has the advantage. So this is really neck and neck right now. It really down to who hits the most shots and whether Russell double taps in the T22 shuts it down really quick. So now IS-4 really wants to stay alive as long as he can because they got 2 caps as opposed to 1 of MIB. So it's really a matter of whether he's able to take the fight correctly. He want to take the fight against the mouse while staying away from Chicago, which he's doing actually. That's decent. But Chicago is coming this side, so he really wants to pick a fight to commit to. Otherwise, he's picking 2 fights at the same time and actually losing both at the same time. So Chicago is going to his back. He's gonna get 1 more shot into it. Yeah, it seems like MIB is gonna get their second point here. It was a close one. It was a really close one because MIB was hesitant to whether to focus their medium sides or not, and that meant MIB bled quite a lot doing that, while BD was slowly crawling back the hit points. So it was a really close call that MIB was able to get the get mobility down really quick, because if you can tell, like MIB when it went straight in, and the BD medium tanks were actually not in positioning to counter the push or do anything about the push, so they had to come all the way to the back, deal with the Vickers and stuff. So even though they were late to the fight, they actually did pretty well dealing with MIB's mobility. So MIB has no mobility going into the later stage of the fight. So it's really about whether the T-22 and the Vickers were able to stay alive long enough, and also do the damage while doing so. And it was really close in terms of hit points, because BD was able to crawl back most of them in the later stage of the game, since MIB was refused to try to take down the Vickers. Like, they were trying to, but Vickers and the T-22 made a very strong effort to stay alive as long as they can. So props to BD's mobility trying that, but in the end they sort of threw away that game by going too close, by not disengaging as well. So T-22's gotta get double tapped really soon. Like, it's sort of inevitable if you try to stay in the fight for that long in your mobility. So it's sort of BD dropping the ball again. But yeah, now we're going to Mine Ruins. At this stage, it's 2-0 for MIB. This might be another 3-0 on the cards again. We can't help but to think that this could be another 3-0. So yeah, it's Mine Ruins now. So it seems that MIB is playing more towards the AB-centric game, since their medium tanks are not going to C at all. But BD is sending tanks onto sending tanks onto C. So Florida's taking some early flak damage. Same goes for Fox and Kranwagen. He's taking more damage than he should have. Is Fox out of position? He's getting caught. He really wants to hide because he's getting... Oh, it's an Amarak! It's an Amarak onto E5. Oslo is being taken down by an Amarak. Florida is now pushing onto Fox. They might actually claw one back very quickly. So, despite the early Amarak, BD might still not come up in terms of the hit point advantage. Florida goes down as well, so it's now a 2-1 trade in favor of BD. BD's now is getting pushed. MIB is being very aggressive in this case, because Capricorn gets 1.5k hit points, taking down into very low hit points already. That was unfortunate Amarak for MIB. If it wasn't for that Amarak, I think MIB actually might have the advantage right now. But their mouse being bled so much right now, the hit point advantage is now slowly being crawled back by MIB. But Chicago is now being very low, as the T-22s of BD is now coming in to finish the final blow. And the hit points is now strongly in the favor of BD. MIB is now trying to see what they can get done, but it seems that this round is very likely to go in the hands of BD. So Capricorn goes down as well. The hit point is still heavily in favor of BD, and it doesn't seem like they have lost any hit points since then. Mouse took one hit, but IS-4 is going to go on very soon. Rome, it's about to get shot a few times. They're trying to focus Russell's in the T-22, but yeah, it's a bit too late now. Especially when 215B is set on fire. RNG is going it's going super well for BD this round. And with the ammo rack with the fires, it's literally going super in favor of BD. The RNG gods. This is literally not by tactical outplay or skill. It's just lucky. Yeah, it's just luck. You can't put it any other way other than luck. Since the E5 get ammo racked so early, like, you can't help but think this is just really a skill game. That really just skill that one BD the game. And that ammo rack really swing the things a lot early game, since that meant also in the E5 weren't able to contribute to anything. He only contributed to one shot and then he instantly got taken down. That was some insane luck there from BD. It's really insane luck from BD. So yeah. So now going back to Mine Runes. So BD successfully avoided getting 3-0 by virtue of luck of ammo racking and full health E5 and also burning enemy tanks down. But are they able to avoid the loss in the end? We will see. We will see. So we're going back to Mine Runes. We swap spawns. And it's still again match point for MIB. But it might you might not be surprised to hear that MIB might actually have to look back into the ways of doing after that round, because that ammo rack is gonna hurt a lot in terms of the morale of MIB. Like, getting ammo racked early on and then getting burned very quickly does not bond well with your morale in the team. But BD looks to go to very, very aggressive AB early game, while MIB is already going into capping C. So T22 from BD is also getting A and B at the same time. So if MIB can't reset B, BD would get 2 cap advantage. But unfortunately, there's Oslo and the VK90 blade. That's helping with the reset. Also Capricorn taking 2 hits, but they're still trying to reset B. But BD's gonna get away with B cap, and now BD's gonna get 2 caps. But Russell's in the T22 is gonna be stuck here in a half hit point tank. So BD's not necessarily in any good shape or form, even though they got 2 caps. They're actually in a very tricky positioning, as Rome and Yogan Gavina is also whopping from behind. The Crown Dragon is gonna take a big hit. And currently, Russell's in the T22 and Capricorn in the E5 are the first 2 low health tanks in either team. So it's really up to which team is able to take that first casualty, and which team is able to prevent the casualty from going down. Fox is now first going down instead of Russell's in the T22. So first tank advantage goes to MIB. Oslo now is also pushing in, getting the second tank advantage. So now 2-0 trades in favor of MIB. Ahad in the IS-4 B cab is also about to go down. Sooner or later, he's now 1 shot. It's really just a matter of time that he's gonna go down. And Mr. Swaron in the Vickers in the Crown Dragon is now also down. Ahad is now going down as well. Is now down as well. It's basically clean up time for MIB They had enough with the ammo rack. They had enough. They said, if the skill, if the amount of luck that BD had in the last game, they're now just cleaning up, and they had to announce that they are the one in charge of this game. They're the ones that take dominance, and it's just a matter of time. They're about to do it clean, 7-0, and they would take this round, and they would take this matchup 3-1 over BD. So congrats, MIB. They weren't. They were taking down in a surprise fashion, but they weren't flustered. They're able to hold themselves together and perform. They're able to delete BD from existence very quickly. So congrats to MIB for taking this 3-1. So yeah, the match for today is basically finished. We'll be back on possibly Sunday, I think. Yeah, Sunday for more upper bracket matches between the different teams. So the current surviving teams are I think there's also lower bracket matches next round on Sunday as well. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what we'll make do for Sunday. There should be some matches that are being played for upper bracket as well as lower bracket. I feel like. But regardless, it was decent games today. There were a lot of ammo racks lucks going on. So okay, Sunday's gonna be 3 matches. Upper bracket and lower bracket's gonna go on the same time, while the second lower bracket's gonna be on Sunday as well. So Thursday, April 1st and April 4th will be the last 2 days that we will see action for the tournament. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. It means quite a lot to have quite a lot. I'm not sure how many people tuned in today, but yeah, it was a pretty good match today that we saw from MIB. Despite them losing to E7 3-0, they sort of clawed back against Speedy, and yeah, it showcases the difference between a very high level team, mid level team, and sort of like, well, not bottom level team, but rather I would say the lower end to the middle teams. So yeah. So yeah, I'll call the stream off for the day. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys later.